we start tonight with the growing threat of a larger war in the Middle East. Overnight, Israel launching what it's calling preemptive strikes against Hezbollah, saying the Iranian-backed militant group was planning to stage a large-scale attack this morning. Hezbollah then responding with drones and missiles. The exchange marks a major escalation of violence since the Israel-Hamas war began on October 7th, now threatening to open a second battlefront. That's raising serious concerns that the entire Middle East could spiral into chaos, pulling other countries into a wider regional conflict that could lead to U.S. involvement.
Hezbollah has threatened Israel with new weapons that it claims are now in its arsenal, including precision and non-precision missiles.
Tonight, Ukrainian forces digging into Russian territory.
For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own concepts, that blindness in part is happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
The enemies of Yasharel, the crafty council, seem to be so confident that this season of blindness will last forever for the Israelites, that they figure they can take their eye off the valley of dry bones for a brief moment to focus on the inner conflicts they have with each other and settle some ancient blood feuds. But the return of our King is closer than they know.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they were burned in a furnace.
So of course, the sages, mystics, and sorcerers of the West can't help but to deploy their most powerful spiritual weapon, the fallen royal priesthood of Zion, against their geopolitical rivals.
For example, Operation Red Dawn was telegraphed 15 years in advance through predictive programming, skillfully placed in a music video for the classic 1991 underground hip-hop hit, Ain't No Future in Your Front.
We shot this funky fresh video, man. Check it out. Yeah. Sound good to me. This sound hard.
Throughout the video, we can see a random noose hanging in the background.
Like a scene of amazement. While they slipping back, my feet is planted in the pavement. Crumble like I never do. So now I'm looking dead at you. What are you gonna do?
And here, we can clearly see a name tag that reads S. Hussein. Shortly after this scene, MC Breed escorts a character impersonating Saddam Hussein to the noose, being prepared by a character representing a Saudi Arabian. Then in this scene, drenched in lesser magic, they forecast the actual execution, hanging of Saddam, who 15 years later would be executed by hanging in real life. To make it even more blatant, this song and video was released by the Jewish-owned label Warlock Records. And of course, the Illuminists had to end the video with MC Breed displaying the one-eye symbolism inside a theater, a clear sign of the Dionysian cult of Bacchus.
Almost everyone has heard of the lost tribes of Israel, but the Bible lets us know there's a group who knows exactly who and where the Israelites are.
For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Because the global public image of the so-called black community has been sabotaged and saturated with derogatory stereotypes of dysfunction and buffoonery, the majority of the world who don't know who the true Israelites are don't take this community seriously.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee.
So for the spellcasters, this makes the so-called black community the perfect place to hide their lesser magic predictive programming in plain sight.
Bombs Over Baghdad is a song by the Atlanta rap group Outkast, which came out August 2000. 3 years later, when the U.S. invaded Iraq, coalition aircraft were making bombing runs over Baghdad at the rate of 1,000 a day.
The rap group The Coup shot and released this album cover in June 2001, a couple of months before the 9/11 attacks. And years before that, Biggie Smalls rapped, "Time to get paid, blow up like the World Trade." While in 1998, Busta Rhymes rapped, "None of you blanks really want war, the type to fly a plane into your building in the name of a law."
If it's not clear by now, mainstream hip-hop is totally co-opted and controlled by the deep state social engineers. In this clip from 2016, we see Barack Hussein Obama predicting who would win a future rap battle between two of their puppet superstars.
All right, so we had Drake versus Meek Mill. A lot of people were tweeting that to me. We kind of know the outcome of that. But if Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle, who do you think would win?
Got to go with Kendrick. I'm just saying. I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his lyrics, his last album was outstanding.
Excellent. All right.
Best album I think last year.
Thanks so much for your time, Mr. President. Excellent.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
So recently, when Elon Musk chimed in on DJ Academic's Twitter page saying, "Everyone's talking about this battle," I believe when he said everyone, he's referring to his circle of billionaire puppet masters and global elites. As the world heats up and inches closer and closer toward World War III, it's important to keep in mind that while most of today's regional conflicts center around territorial and border disputes, the scriptures make it clear that the Most High governs all kingdoms and nations in light of his chosen set-apart nation, the children of Israel.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
But the West has grown so fat, decadent, and arrogant that they're ignoring the rattling sounds coming from those dry bones. And they're not paying attention to the fact that the clumsy way they've conducted their externalization of the hierarchy, their public mass rituals, is starting to be perceived by some newly formed eyes in the Valley of Dry Bones. He's armed and dangerous. Armed and dangerous.
I
believe.
Vengeance is mine. I will repay.
Yes, this recent wave of psychosocial conditioning that's being broadcast through their occult medium of film and entertainment is so blatant in its satanic seduction aimed toward the daughters of Zion that it's hard for even your average unawakened American not to notice a strange pattern. As the sons of Jacob, the Israelite men, are in a deep spiritual sleep, being used as weapons while being systematically disenfranchised and programmed toward self-destruction.
The next phase of their psychological warfare strategy is to spiritually court the daughters of Zion, offering them a season of pseudo-empowerment and temporary acceptance on the condition they relinquish any spiritual ties to the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob,
and commit to undergoing a painful initiation process in order to become a consort, a concubine, in their Neo-Nephilim chimeric fertility cult. Let's look at the programming. For instance, we recently covered the horror romance film Bones and All, where a young Israelite woman goes on a road trip and falls head over heels in love with Lee, a bisexual cannibal. Then we have Challengers. In this film, a champion tennis player played by Zendanda, a young Israelite woman.
Remember, the Israelite bloodline is established through the patrilineal lineage of the father.
And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
A champion tennis player played by Zendanda, a young Israelite woman, has a twisted affair, love triangle, with two bisexual tennis rivals. And what is really revealing is the theme song these satanic social engineers chose for the trailer music, S&M by Rihanna. The song, where the corporate record executives at Universal Music Group had a young Rihanna, a so-called black girl, sing, quote, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but chains and whips excite me," unquote. In the music video for this song, there's a scene which blatantly states Rihanna, Princess of the Illuminati.
So this movie Challengers aims to fetishize the perverse sadomasochistic initiation rites set up for the daughters of Zion to gain entry into the coming New World Order system as princesses of the Illuminati.
And this 2024 release, The Crow, has another component of the same predictive programming spell. A young Israelite woman in love with a goth anti-hero who, after being killed, returns to take revenge as the Crow.
So essentially, this movie is about an Israelite girl's undying love for a vengeful phantom being, which they call a ghost, but we know as a demon, the Crow, an unclean and hateful bird. Are you noticing a pattern here? All of the love interests have a deviant and corrupting nature.
Lastly, we want to highlight Pauline.
Hey, I just wanted to check in and ask how you're doing. I mean, if it's actually you, Pauline. Do you think it's a good idea to stay in touch with Lucas?
I'm not. I put an end to it. I'm pregnant.
Well, who's the father?
You are.
No,
You are.
that's impossible. I can't have a child with you.
What? Some things have been going on around me. You okay?
You okay? How can I explain this? My mother is the devil.
What?
That is the worst thing that could happen to this world.
Is it like The Exorcist? Do I need an exorcism now?
I don't know either. We have to get rid of this damn thing. That's what's important here.
Pauline is a 2024 fantasy thriller miniseries on Disney Plus that follows a 19-year-old girl named Pauline who becomes pregnant after a one-night stand with Lucas. When Lucas reveals that he is the devil's son and heir to hell, Pauline's pregnancy gives her supernatural powers. This end-time spell has been cast to cause the Israelite woman to have sympathy for the devil and believe it's okay to fall in love with evil.
The show's name is Pauline, about an 18-year-old impregnated by Satan.
This is powerful witchcraft.
It's clear the enemies of Yasharel are seeing red, and although they've been caught red-handed, they want the daughters of Zion to ignore the red flags and embrace their doctrine of devils.
Shattered paradise.
And behold, a great red dragon.
And the first came out red, and they called his name Esau.
I trusted you.
Red.
Red alert! Despite the red flags, I believed in you. I looked past the warning signs. You said everything would be fine. So I ignored the red flags like I'm colorblind to red. Not being able to see these flags will leave me dead. I believed every word you said. So I'm colorblind. Colorblind to red.
So I'm colorblind to red. Those flags will have me dead. Believed every word you said. So I'm colorblind, colorblind to red.
You're going to pay every last red cent.
Mayor Amschel Bauer was a goldsmith and a loan shark. He hung a red hexagram shield over his doorway and changed his name from Bauer to Rothschild, which means red shield in German. The red hexagram shield was the symbol for the World Revolutionary Movement,
which joined forces with the Red Dragon to create the Balfour Declaration.
Their whole agenda is hidden in plain sight.
The red media.
We've already exposed through Clive Davis and Lucian Grange that P. Diddy is an agent, a servant of the Red Dragon, the royal aristocracy of the British Crown. But the truth is, we didn't have to tell you about his allegiance to the Welsh royal dragon bloodlines. He tells you himself in the 2001 movie, Made.
Yo, this is my boys, man. Oh, how you doing, Bobby? The Rogues Gallery, huh? Bobby, it's Horace. This is Rick. Hey.
You must be the Red Dragon, huh?
The name's Tom.
Yeah. So where's the Red Dragon's lair? Where do you call home? Where do you lay your head down?
Home, Glasgow. Glasgow.
Yeah. And where exactly might that be?
That's Scotland.
Scotland? Well, how come the word on the street is that you're Welsh, my man? There's a buzz going around about you being Welsh.
Enough of the introductions. I want you to meet somebody. What the fuck was you told? Don't talk, right?
Unless spoken to, Ruiz. Isn't that right, Horse? You know that to be true as well. Look, he spoke to me, okay? What do you expect me to do in a situation like that? Just diss him?
Diss? Diss? Let me tell you something, motherfucker. You wasn't sitting here to make fucking friends, asking the motherfucker where he's from. And who the fuck told you Red Dragon?
The interview we are about to show you was published in December 2022, a year before the allegations surfaced against P. Diddy.
I got myself into a situation where I was about to get sex trafficked. It was a close one. He was Arabian. He flew me to Miami, and he said I was going to be there for 2 weeks. We were in a $30 million house, and I ended up being there for a month. And I had to escape, okay?
The Bahamas is in the middle of what appears to be an international human smuggling operation believed to be linked to the sale of human organs.
When there was a priority for drugs, now the biggest business is human trafficking. Selling organs. Let's get real now.
In the Bahamas?
Oh, yes.
Human trafficking and selling organs in the Bahamas?
In the Bahamas.
And we were meeting so many girls, and girls from Love and Hip Hop was coming in the house, and celebrities was there and all of this stuff. But it started to get real weird. You know, it was a lot of drugs. And like, I don't do hard drugs like that. Like, I was smoking weed, you know, and they were doing hard drugs and stuff. And it was just like, it was getting, like my gut was telling me something bad is about to happen. But he was trying to like distract us with buying this stuff. We was going shopping and doing all these things. And for some reason, I felt like, where am I about to be tomorrow? And why are we still here? So then he says, well, we're going to go to Cuba.
It's important to note that Cuba is an island country in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is a place where it's not hard to wind up missing.
So the girls start talking in the house, and they're like, girl, I got to get back home. And he said that I can't leave. And I'm like, well, what is he going to do with us? Then, you know, we had went to some celebrity's house, and we ended up at P. Diddy's house. And I just started hearing conversations, and I just got sex trafficking from it. Because, you know, I heard the Prince saying something like, oh, you can have whoever you want. Like, he was like selling us, you know? So I'm like, is this sex trafficking? Like, what the?
A raid carried out by dozens of Homeland Security agents at Sean Diddy Combs' home in Holmby Hills Monday, raising questions. His mansion at the center of a federal sex trafficking investigation led out by the HSI Southern District of New York, according to law enforcement.
The big question is, where is P. Diddy tonight? Well, TMZ is reporting they've just tracked his private jet to Antigua in the Caribbean.
Photos obtained by ABC News capturing Combs' Love Air jet in Antigua.
Similar to how Epstein turned Little St. James into his own perverted playground, Diddy would take women to the Caribbean on yachts where there was alleged illicit activity. And one of Diddy's close business partners, billionaire Ron Burkle, was also found in Epstein's black book of contacts. Burkle, the man whose converted Boeing 757 was nicknamed Ron Air by Bill Clinton and called Air Bleep One by others, has a history of socializing with unsavory characters. And like Epstein,
Ron Burkle is obsessed with the quest for genetic immortality. In this 2022 article by the Regenerative Medicine Foundation, we see that P. Diddy's mentor, friend, and business associate, Ron Burkle, was on the board of the Hevolution Foundation, founded by the Saudi royal family, dedicated to researching cutting-edge treatments that enhance longevity and reverse aging.
You girls have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that.
You know, I came up on this prince, and he was Arabian.
Take me in your loving arms and hold me.
Henrietta's cell line was immortal.
And I will fall in love.
Colorblind to red.
And we want some of that.
Linked to the sale of human organs.
Immortality.
I bid $500.
S&M by Rihanna.
$60,000 for the egg.
The show's name is Pauline.
If you have abortion, that's very valuable. You know, umbilical cord, you know, and placenta.
About an 18-year-old impregnated by Satan.
It's so rich with stem cells.
You see, in this quest for immortality, Peter Nygard was not the only billionaire using the various islands of the Caribbean as his own personal sex, stem cell, and organ harvesting playground. All of his accomplices and billionaire co-conspirators are still on the loose.
Peter, look what I flew in just for our birthday.
This is Daniel Fitzgerald. He's a real estate developer in California and a longtime friend of Peter Nygard's.
We're talking about Instagram.
3 women are now suing Fitzgerald in a California court alleging he sexually assaulted them at Nygard's direction. The lawsuit was filed in November 2020. It says Fitzgerald was a frequent guest at Nygard's Marina Del Rey home and attended his pamper parties. Fitzgerald's accusers are only known as Jane Doe number 1, 2, and 3 in court filings. The lawsuit says between 2008 and 2018, Nygaard frequently traveled to his California home, and that just about every day he was in town, Fitzgerald would come by for dinner, poker, and sex. In exchange for sex acts, Fitzgerald would always bring a female with him to offer to Nygaard.
This is Nygaard Pamper Day.
This is one of 5 Instagram videos mentioned in the lawsuit. The court filings say Fitzgerald used his association with Nygaard and the Pamper parties to promote himself and his business on social media. Fitzgerald hasn't filed a response to the lawsuit, and his lawyer had no comment. None of the allegations have been proven in court. This is the latest lawsuit to be filed against Nygaard's inner circle, alleging they assisted or enabled the fashion designer and his companies in a so-called sex trafficking venture.
We haven't really had that many parties here. If you look at 4 homes in a row over 3 years, the neighbors have called the police 96 times, okay? That's the record. Only 2 times we've had a ticket. One was for a lion, because the guy had a lion in a cage. Well, I didn't know it was illegal, but I sure thought it was cool. This was a recording studio here, so now it's kind of like a bedroom, but it's set up as a recording studio. This is designed just to deaden music. It's very special. Sean Kingston has these made for all his studios, so this was left here. Sean Kingston was living next door. Sean had 1 party in a year. 1 party. I went to the party. Oh my God, it was heaven. Okay, I love black girls. So imagine Sean Kingston and all his beautiful girls, and I go to the party with my dad. It was my dad's birthday on the party, and my dad loves the same girls as me. So me and my dad are just in heaven here, and everyone's smoking their indica and having a great time. You know how a Jamaican party would be.
Nygaard's big facilities and in cloning operations down in the Bahamas and down in the Caribbean. And Epstein, the women are like, yeah, I was having babies for him. We don't know why. They were killing the babies and sucking all of their blood out, reproductive cells out, and injecting them into the veins and arteries of Peter Nygaard. They start with an egg, then they go, well, we want a placenta. We want you to kill your baby at 4 weeks. We want the umbilical cord. Then they go, we actually want the baby. Now, these are 2 vampires that traffic in this, who did all this to reportedly thousands of babies. Total, they sold to other men like Bill Gates and others. And Epstein was doing it to at Zorro Ranch, reportedly, literally wanting to suck babies dry and pump it into these men's veins. He's just a guy like Epstein that gets it for the elites. And this guy's a billionaire, but he's collecting this from black women to inject it in Bill Gates. Continue.
Billionaires are pouring money into this private city, built in one of the poorest, most dangerous countries in the world. It's called Prospera, and Honduras has virtually no control over it. The city runs like a business, with corporate income tax as low as 1%. And you can pay for anything, even your taxes, using Bitcoin. And now, some locals who live nearby are afraid that wealthy businessmen might take over their land.
They're right there and we right here. First coming to disappear will be ours.
But who are the people pouring money into this experiment? And can you really build a city without a government? Just off the coast of Honduras is the island of Roatan, which attracts thousands of tourists and deep-sea divers every year. Tucked away in this tropical paradise is Prospera. There are no road signs leading us to it, but the luxury architecture stands out from everything else. Construction is non-stop. Behind me is Duna Residences, which is going to be the tallest building on Roatan. It's 14 stories high, and a studio apartment here is going to cost $80,000. The city is part of a special economic zone created by Honduras to attract foreign investment. There are some houses available on Pristine Bay. The sprawling 400-acre property was built before Prospera, but some owners incorporated it into the special economic zone. There's a luxury resort, a golf course, and private residences. Around 120 businesses had registered here as of January 2023. The new companies include a gene therapy startup, a dive shop, and a Bitcoin education center. The new companies include a gene therapy startup,
I'm traveling to a remote island for an extreme medical procedure that could change the future of humanity. Humans have a 120-year ceiling, and so far, no one can punch through it. Gene therapy might be the answer. This is a journey in search of the fountain of youth.
Well, the science is actually pretty fascinating. Regular transfusions of the blood of a younger, physically fit donor can significantly retard the aging process.
Them insane.
Brian Johnson.
He calls himself the world's most measured human.
He's spending $2 million a year on a team of 30 doctors.
To reverse aging.
It does appear to reverse the aging process.
Dr. Jesse Karmazin is talking about transfusions with the young blood from teenagers, and he says it just may turn back the hands of time.
There's pretty much people from most states, people from overseas, from Europe and Australia.
There have not been any published results, but the intriguing concept still found its way into pop culture.
He's my transfusion associate.
Dr. Karmazin says patients who have had it say they feel amazing, and he has seen evidence of reversing the aging process in rats.
Now, let's dive into one of the most controversial aspects of Brian Johnson's anti-aging regimen, his use of young blood transfusions.
This is me as a kid. This is a kid who was born with one of the effects of the gene therapy I'm about to do. In mice, when they received this gene therapy, they lived 30% longer. Let me back up and tell you how we got here.
In the shadow of the Caribbean lies Roatan, a hidden gem off the Honduran coast, shrouded in mystery. Beyond its breathtaking beaches and coral reefs, Roatan hides a secret venture, Prospera, an experimental zone for governance.
All this that you see is Prospera.
Prospera defies convention, crafting its own laws in a game of high geopolitical stakes against the Honduran government's backlash. I'm traveling to the heart of Prospera to find MiniCircle, a biohacking company rewriting the rules of wellness. Their target, follistatin gene therapy, a pioneering technology with the potential to improve muscle and strength, slow the speed of aging, and many more benefits. This treatment is not FDA approved in the US, which is why I'm traveling all the way to Prospera.
You hear about vampires, peasants all over the world, just regular people talking about what they were seeing and what was happening. At night, they come, they take children, they drink their blood. So then I began to study a little bit. I'm like, the British royalty are not British at all, not one drop of blood. In fact, they hate the British and the Irish and the Scots and train them to all kill each other. Because the Brits were the biggest group, they trained them to hate the Scots and the Irish when it was all the same family. They weren't even German. They weren't even Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. They were Transylvanian. They were the House of the Dragon, Dracul. And the main line, direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler, the real Count Dracula, is King Charles of His Britannic Majesty.
And behold, a great red dragon.
Blood to red.
The red are the executives.
Critics say that unregulated transactions, low tax rates, and little to no government control could turn Prospera into a tax haven like the Cayman Islands, which is notorious for helping shell companies hide money. But perhaps the most controversial part about this city-state is the judicial system. Prospera has set up its own online court to settle disputes.
It's popular with many legal experts from Europe, from Australia, New Zealand, Central America, and the US, of course. One of them is a former Supreme Court Justice of Arizona.
Locals say this suggests that Prospera and its residents are above the law of the land. Louisa Connor was born and raised in this tight-knit community of 600 people.
We have 4 generations now, and ever since, we've been living a peaceful life within this community.
Residents here grow all the food that they eat.
Then we have the cocoa. These are coconut.
the summer, they make coconut oil from scratch. It's a simple way of life that Louisa says is at risk.
If you need me, I'm there. If I need you, you're here. So we want to maintain that life. That is one of the reasons we start and to get organized.
She claims their actions have been hostile.
No one could enter. They had guards at the road that we couldn't go in. Not even you guys, if you had come in that time back then, they would not let you in. They had bulldog at the entrance of the pave, stopping any journalist that visited Crawfish.
She's especially afraid of a law that says Honduras has the right to take over land to expand the special economic zones. On this small island where tourism is the biggest industry, Roatan's Afro-Caribbean community, called the Garifuna, depend on it. I visited their village, Punta Gorda, about 11 miles northeast of Prospero.
Over the last 3 years, I've spent millions of dollars on a protocol to slow my speed of aging and even reverse the damage that's taken place. My team and I are constantly searching for groundbreaking new therapies, which is why I'm flying to a resort in the Bahamas owned by Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake, where I'll be injected in all 6 of my major joints with 300 million stem cells, provided by a revolutionary company called Celco Labs, with the aim to give me superhero joints, increased athletic performance, and eliminate all my aches and pains.
Because the quest for immortality is a profoundly spiritual pursuit, the vampiric global elite desperately needs your consent, whether conscious or subconscious, just as a vampire needs to be invited in. This is why they have to tell you.
Slater King, let's get to the question that everybody is dying for you to answer. Where have you been?
I guess I just needed to disappear for a little while. So I sort of bought an island.
An island?
It's a great place to bring friends. Nice to meet you, Frida. We're going to my island for a few days. Do you guys want to come?
Did we just jet off to a billionaire's island with a bunch of strangers? Oh, he's not a stranger. He's Slater King.
I can't tell you how healing it's been just to disconnect.
Phones, please. Wait, for real?
It's just better without phones. I hope it's okay. This is my favorite one.
I think I'll survive.
We grow our own food. I wear the same thing every day.
So do you think it's weird that there's like clothes for us? I think it's just like rich. It's not what I thought it was gonna be.
What do you mean?
The legendary parties of Slater King. Please, Pfizer, I'm in danger. What day is it?
I don't know.
When are we leaving?
Whenever you want.
You okay? Dude, your eye. Can't you feel it? There's something wrong with this place. I've turned under my nails and I don't know how I got there.
Are you having a good time?
I feel like we're forgetting like a lot of stuff.
There's something weird going on.
Something's making us forget. Shh. Where's Jess?
Who's Jess?
My friend.
You remember her?
Yes.
But I don't remember her.
Who's there?
I'm going for the phones. Keep a lookout. Oh my God.
What are we gonna do about you?
We need to find out what's really going on.
It's a really special place.
So he gets these supermodels, gorgeous women, gorgeous black women, as beautiful as they can get, to be impregnated and to live at his medical facility so that he could get the baby, his baby, and suck all of its cells out and inject them because he thought if it was his son or daughter, it had better cells. And when he said black women have this gift, it's true that black people in the genetic testing are like the original. And how does the ADL say it's anti-Semitic for black people who are related directly to King Solomon and King David, the line of Judah, to act like they don't know this? I'm not blaming Jews for this. I'm blaming the leftist ADL. To deny black Jews their heritage is a historic fraud. It's a damn historic fact. It's on Wikipedia. It's not even debated. He wants black women to get pregnant with his demonic ass, his mutant ass, and he literally then wants to get their essence and absorb it. Instead of having a beautiful kid, loving this woman, and seeing the child grow up and you live forever through that. No. You want to murder a black baby and suck its juices out so you live longer, you monster.
And behold, a great red dragon.
Blood to red.
Operation Red Dawn.
Blind.
The Red Media.
Dead.
Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon the Lord? There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad.
But we are called to fear no evil.
Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Fear no evil.
Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
As we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away.
He's a healer, a savior.
All praises.
I am the resurrection and the life.
My heart was so tired.
So tired.
He brings joy.
He's a healer. He's a savior.
I will fear no evil.
Hallelujah.
I will fear no evil. Hallelujah.
I will fear no evil.
All praises. All praises to the Most High Yah.